Hi ninjas, and welcome back to my channel. We are making a bread recipe today. I love dough. We are making potato buns. These potato buns are perfect for burgers, but they're also really nice to have on their own. Slather some butter on, put a bit of cheese, and just it's really tasty. You can absolutely make these buns and store them for a while. So the good thing is that they freeze really well. The potato in the buns make them soft and fluffy and pillowy, and you just want to I think you get my excitement. I'm also super excited because I am wearing my besties merchandise today. You can see it says, "I'm an awesome potato." Okay, so I'm going to be putting a link down below where you can get your merchandise. Without any more conversation, I think we should just get started. I've already boiled my potatoes and they are absolutely soft, so I want to peel them and roughly mash it up into something that looks like this, because this is what we're going to use in our dough. We get our flour and the yeast into a bowl and just stir that up. We then want to add our warm water. This has to be warm, not hot as in piping hot, because if it is piping hot, you're going to kill your yeast. It's not going to activate, and you want this to get all bubbly and frothy. You don't want it to die. So once you mix it all together, you want to let this rest and just let it bubble up. We can see the little bubbles that have popped up, and if you move it, you can see how it jiggles. Yeah, my money don't jiggle. Anyway, so you can see that it's now ready for the rest of the ingredients. I'm gonna add my boiled mashed potato into the mixture. We need to add our butter, which is softened. You could also do melted butter. I'm gonna use half the egg in the dough, and we're gonna keep half for the egg wash later. Once your egg is beaten, you could weigh it out and then halve it, but I'm gonna eyeball it. We add our salt and sugar, and then we go in with our flour. I'm gonna add all my flour, but if I need more, if I need more, I will add it in stages. So just gotta get your hands in there and start squishing it around. It feels like Play-Doh. You gotta massage the dough quite unapologetically. You could do this in your stand mixer if you wanted, but very honestly, it comes together quite easily. It's not a fussy dough, and it doesn't get very sticky as well. So as you can see, it comes together quite fast. I need to knead the dough now. I'm not gonna use flour, I'm just gonna use a bit of oil to help it not stick to the surface. As you can see, it's quite sticky. So oil your hands up, and you want to start kneading it. So once it's become smoother like this, you can see the little potato bits, and that's absolutely fine. You want to then add this into a bowl like so, and I'm gonna add a little bit of oil just to ensure it doesn't stick to the sides as it rises. Now let's talk about rising really quickly. When you are making any bread or dough that is a yeasted product, you have to let it rise until it doubles in volume. I can say this will take an hour, but if you have a cold kitchen, it's going to take up to 2 or 3 hours. If you've got a really hot kitchen, this could be done in 20 minutes. So once you see that your dough is doubled in volume, you're good to go. However soon or however later that happens, you basically will let it rise until it's doubled in size. It's been an hour. My dough, as you can see, has doubled in size. It's all bubbly and nice and airy, and you can see that the yeast has really activated, because you can kind of just notice there's a good amount of bubblage here. And now we just need to shape. So I'm going to knock back and kind of get all this air that we've built to it out of the dough. And it comes away really easily. If you have a scraper, it works very well when you're working with dough. Just scrape out the bowl. And now we just want to punch it out. It's become so soft. Whee! So it's become really elastic and it feels really nice. You can see that the gluten has developed well. And I'm just folding it back over itself. Once we've got a log like this, we then want to divide it up. So I'm gonna start by going into half, each half into half. You want to shape it into little balls. Whee! So once your dough is shaped and you can see that it's laid out quite nicely on my tray, I've left quite a bit of space because this will rise now as well as once it bakes. I'm gonna just cover it very loosely with a cling film on the top so that it doesn't form any skin, and just let this sit for like 10 to 15 minutes until it rises a little bit. So we can see that the buns have risen a bit, and what I'm gonna do now is just pat them down a little bit because I don't want them to rise too much. And now, with the rest of my egg that we saved from earlier, I'm gonna just give them a lovely egg wash. This is gonna give them a beautiful golden color as it bakes on the top. I'm sprinkling the top with some onion seeds. You could do sesame seeds or even black sesame seeds for that matter. These will bake for around 10 to 15 minutes. I'm gonna check them after 10 minutes or so and see how they look. The moment they're risen, they're golden, and they look really nice and inviting and delicious, I'm gonna take them out of the oven. My buns are out of the oven, and you know that they are done when you can hear this hollow sound if you tap the bottom. That means they are done. You want to let these cool down completely before you cut into them. There was no pun intended there, so don't laugh. Or laugh, it doesn't matter. Go for it, no problem. It's taste test time. I've put a little bit of butter on the bread, but I'm just gonna taste the inside. You can see it's still warm, so the butter has melted down. I'm just gonna have a little bit of a bite, just a tiny bite. Oh my God, there is nothing better. There's nothing better than homemade bread, fresh out of the oven. It's soft, it's pillowy. You don't taste the potato, very honestly, but it adds a very nice earthy flavor into it, just to give you an idea of what you can expect. It is so soft, and that's the starch from the potato that actually makes it really fluffy and soft. I'm just gonna have another bite before it cools down. This is how I make my potato buns or burger buns. Speaking of which, my next YouTube video is going to be Burgers 101, how to make some of the best burgers at home, the little tips and tricks that you need to watch out for. That's next week, so stay tuned for that. But as of now, I'm gonna go. These potato buns are still warm and they're calling my name. All I can say is it's a simple recipe. Do not be afraid to try in making bread at home. A few pointers to keep in mind when you are cooking with bread, baking, when you're baking bread, not cooking with bread. Anyway, you have to let the yeast do its work. Patience, patience, patience is key. Kneading the dough is also important. That's what activates the gluten development, which is what makes it light and fluffy and airy and pillowy and delicious. But that's a little bit for you to keep in mind when it comes to baking with bread. All the tips and details you need to make this recipe is on my blog. Link is somewhere below in the description. Make sure to check it out. All I'm gonna say is positive ninja vibes.